Good
Good
morning.
morning. Happy Memorial Day. That phrase always feels funny to me. Happy Memorial Day? That's like Happy Funeral Day. Doesn't it feel funny?
I will address that later.
Oh, good to know. So, you know, Memorial Day. I guess we'll just go with that. Um, also, it's our 13th wedding anniversary.
It is a happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary, Dr. Mary. Yeah, we were dressed a little better 13 years ago.
Well, you were wearing white.
I was wearing ivory, let's be clear.
Okay, sorry.
We had definitely showered, so there was that.
Yes.
But we told you on Friday we were doing this from our jammies, and we decided to honor our promise. So here we are. I put Dr. Mary in charge of this. I don't know, I guess because I'm reading Barack Obama's memoir, and I wanted to do that this morning. So Dr. Mary's going to lead the conversation, and I'll just be here drinking tea. Go ahead, Dr. Mary.
Thank you. So, I wanted to start with what actually Memorial Day means, and I've actually, even before I moved here from England, a lot of people thought, why are they doing this in May? Why don't they do it in November? Because in Europe, actually, in the whole of Europe, they just have Remembrance Day, which is the 11th of November, the Armistice Day for the end of the First World War, and that's when they honour the war dead there. But Memorial Day and Veterans Day in this country are completely different, and it's interesting that it actually kind of makes sense. Veterans Day on the 11th of November is when you celebrate those who have served and are living. Memorial Day is when you celebrate those who gave their life in service in the US military. And it's in May. One of the traditions of it was actually because it's when the flowers are blooming, and it's supposed to signify, thank you, signify new life from the death of other things.
Wow. Okay.
There is a moment of remembrance at 3 o'clock local time is when you have a minute's silence, and I cannot find anywhere why somebody chose 3 p.m.
Okay.
I thought because of the history of this, it might have been the time that the armistice for the Civil War was signed, but I couldn't find out if that was at 3 o'clock. So if you do actually know why it's at 3 o'clock local time everywhere, please let us know.
I'm going to almost guarantee nobody knows. I've already learned more than I ever knew about Memorial Day.
Do you know where the
Probably
earliest recognised Memorial Day was held, and by whom?
I'm going to go with President Taft in Topeka, Kansas.
I don't know how far away Topeka, Kansas. I've only been an American for 3 weeks. Give me some credit. I don't know how far away Topeka, Kansas is
It's quite far.
from Charleston, South Carolina, but that's how far wrong you are.
It's pretty far.
The first Memorial Day has been argued by many historians. I love historians. They're like terriers. They just wiggle away till they find the truth out of something. The first...
My gosh, I'm right here.
I'm teacher mode, I do apologise.
Oh.
The first recognised Memorial Day was in Charleston, South Carolina in 1865, when a group of former slaves gathered around a mass grave of 215 Union soldiers who died from disease and exposure to thank them for their service for freeing them.
Wow.
A year later, the federal government held an official first Memorial Day in Waterloo, New York, and that is now considered to be the official federal recognised first Memorial Day.
Well, of course, because
Yes.
why would we want to recognize
You'd
something
like to
done
take
by minorities?
a minority who were thanking people who died for their freedom. So I think we should take a moment to think of how immensely grateful that was from those people. Now it gets weirder from there. So in 1868, it was declared Decoration Day because they decorated the graves of the fallen from the Civil War. And it was only called Memorial Day unofficially after World War I to recognise those who died in that conflict, because the numbers, of course, went up. In 1968, the federal government declared it a national holiday, and that holiday didn't become recognised by every state until 1971.
For heaven's sakes, who knew? Thank goodness we're doing Daily Dose.
I have 5 things not to do on Memorial Day. One is to wish someone, so you do not wish someone a happy Memorial Day.
Terribly sorry.
Do not thank current troops.
Yes.
Disregard its importance, so do not disregard its importance. And do not let politics keep you from rendering respect.
Oh, that's important.
Yes, it is. Now, a lot of people get confused with the fact that, oh, here's something.
I just have to show you Dr. Mary's little Gate City Bank PowerPoint notes. Look at this.
Well, because Gate City Bank was a major funder of the Arts Partnership.
Yep, okay.
So flags should be held at half staff until noon and then raised to the top of the staff.
So we're in arrears with our flag. It's been up for 2 days and we're already out of compliance?
I have changed it to its half staff. As soon as I read this, about 20 minutes ago, I ran out to the front door.
You're like, I heard the door slam. You're probably the best American on the...
Well, I only found out I only found out yesterday that the hook that you put your flag in, if you don't have a pole or a staff, you put it up so it's at this angle. There's another slot here,
Which I noticed.
which is where it's the half staff thing. I didn't know that until yesterday, so that's why I've put our flag until noon. Then I'm going to move it up again.
I'm a better person for this Daily Dose. I'm not even joking.
Poppies, and this is one of the reasons why they don't really do it nowadays. But poppies were used for Memorial Day in this country. Now it's moved more to the Veterans Day in November in lieu of what most of the rest of the world does with the poppy. But just to remind you where the poppy came from, do you know?
Well, it's a representation of Flanders Field, right?
Yes, but who wrote the poem in Flanders Field?
I don't know.
Lieutenant Colonel and Dr. John McCrae, who was Canadian.
Okay.
So on this Memorial Day, you can thank Canada for 2 things. One is the poem on Flanders Fields, which started the poppy, which was not the reason why it became nationally recognised. I'll come back to that in a sec. But also a Canadian paediatrician, whose name I cannot remember. I wrote it down on a separate bit of paper. Actually invented the game of basketball.
For goodness sake, stay focused.
But he did it in an orphanage around this holiday, so it actually has its birth on Memorial Day. So
Okay,
I wanted to
fine.
put that one, a shout in there for me father-in-law, who until his retirement was a high school basketball coach.
Indeed.
And the man who gave us our flag, so thank you, John. A year later, in 1916, a woman called Morona Michael read the poem in Flanders Fields at a ladies' home journal and wrote her own poem called We Shall Keep the Faith. And the fallout from that led for the campaign to use the poppy as a sign of remembrance, which became used worldwide after she wrote that poem.
I know this because I wrote about this for the Arts Partnership once.
Okay.
Do you feel that you've wrapped up your lecture series, Dr. Mary?
Yes. However, here's my however.
You have a few minutes. You're good.
I know it is Memorial Day and we're supposed to be honouring the dead, but I think it's important to take a moment, considering what Daily Dose is about, to think about those who come home. And it's all very well for us to take a moment to honour the people who died in service of the US military, but think about their friends who came home. I have some quite disturbing facts here, but some things to think about, at least today. You know, don't think about what football games going on or what sales are
It's not
going.
the right season. Dr.
There's Memorial Day seasons all over the place.
But not football.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Whatever.
Wrong sport.
Long sport. So in May of 2019, the VA did a nationwide survey, and they found that 1 in 15 veterans actually have some form of substance abuse disorder. It increased and they did it. They've been doing long-term studies. So after the Vietnam War, they found out that 3.7% of returning veterans had a substance abuse problem, mostly alcohol. Since 2001, when the start of the fight for terror started after the 9/11 attacks, that number of returning veterans with substance abuse jumped to 12.7%.
Wow.
So in 2010, they did a massive study involving 6,227 soldiers. So they screened these soldiers over a few years. So it started in 2010, it finished last year. 27% of those have a diagnosed alcohol binge problem. And alcohol binging was defined in this study as in one sitting drinking 5 or more drinks. It doesn't mean they're an alcoholic, they're binge drinking. But that does lead to alcohol problems. This study does continue long after services has ended. Here's this interesting thing. In 2018, they did a long-term study in Vietnam veterans and found that 80% of surviving Vietnam veterans suffer from alcohol abuse.
Wow.
Suicide rates are 20% higher in surviving Vietnam veterans at the age of 65 than 65-year-olds who haven't served in the military. Why? The main thing is they think it's the constant state of alertness if you serve in the military. It's an adrenaline rush. The adrenaline rush does actually rewire your brain the same way an addiction does, because it triggers your pleasure center and it makes you sort of hyper aware. And the best and cheapest way and the easiest way to dull that awareness is to actually consume alcohol, because it numbs some of your senses. And the last thing I found out, that 11% of homeless people in this country are veterans.
So I guess the takeaway is, it's all well and good to gather your flowers and your flags and go to cemeteries for services or to pay your respects. We're going to do it later today
We're going
too.
to Valley City.
That's well and good, but those veterans don't actually need your help.
Yes.
So,
but it is Memorial Day, so primarily, again, think of those who did give their life for the service of the country, but please also think of the ones that came home. And I know there's another day for that, but they are probably thinking about their friends who didn't today.
yeah. Good job, Dr. Mary.
Thank you.
Interesting, topical, succinct. Well done.
It was succinct. I've been working on that.
Loud.
Yeah, sorry about that, sir.
All right, I can't look at myself anymore quite like this. Is very humbling.
It looks good, love. Every day.
I know, you're very kind.
It's true.
Thanks for watching. Enjoy your day.
Yes.
Do what you can to remember that we only live the way we live because millions of men and women have been willing to serve in this very stressful way. So do what you can to honor those who didn't come home and to take care of those who did, even though it's not technically their day. And we will see you tomorrow, bathed, dressed, and back to the start of summer work. Oh my gosh. Have a something Memorial Day, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
See you tomorrow. Bye.